Hello, guys, and welcome to our quarterfinal review of the Australian Open and our preview to the semifinals. This podcast could be an email. That is basically what the tournament has been thus far. We're not having any sort of epic five setters. And also, Nick, I've actually been pretty good. I have stuck to my bedtime and I am watching pretty much everything on replay and not feeling like I missed anything.
I'm so proud of you, Anastasia, and I'm so glad because I want you to be healthy and happy. So you've done the right thing there. For those of you who've been enjoying, like me, trying to post on social media, I'm so sorry I've not been able to give you live updates from everything. But to be fair, what is there to update on a lot of the time at the moment from the kind of night
Yeah.
sessions? It's been a little bit of a damp squib this sort of second week so far, but you kind of get that sometimes. I think things are sort of simmering nicely for the tournament because there's definitely a few combinations that we could get results for semi-finals and finals, which we'll talk about later. But we're going to review what just happened. So, Anastasia, what just happened?
Not much, but before we jump into what just happened, I quickly want to mention our sweatsuits because I'm wearing mine right now and they are going to be leaving the store at the end of the month. So if you have been thinking about it, debating whether you want to get either the sweatshirt or the pants, either or the combo, because the combo is the best, it's the warmest, this is your last chance to pre-order on January 31st. Well, basically February 1st, they will leave the store, and that will be that for the season. Might TBD come back for next winter, but this has been a lovely run. We just got a bunch of new orders in for them, so I'm excited for you all to get your sweatsuits and send us photos and tag us on Instagram because I totally want to see your looks. Really do. Now, in terms of the quarterfinals, Nick, let's start with the guys. Let's start with the boys because it hasn't been really great. I think the two matches that I was looking forward to see, for some excitement, for some five-set battles, or even if they were straight sets, but battles anyway, they were only really battles for a bit. And that was the match between Alexander Zverev and Learner Tien, and then also Carlos Alcaraz and Alex de Minaur. I thought those matchups might produce something, but Alcaraz is currently looking unstoppable in my eyes.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. That quarterfinal's probably the one I've seen the least of. I basically saw the first set and then didn't see the rest of it. So, by judging from the scoreline, I didn't need to see the rest of it. I was hoping de Minaur would kind of be spurred on by the crowd to really challenge Alcaraz, but we know his kind of history with having to really play outside of himself to challenge the top of the game. It was a little bit of a tough ask for it to be a really good match, maybe. But again, any player can get inspired at any point. But he did his best for a set. The first set was that battle that we were hoping for, and then didn't really pan out after that. I'm
Yeah.
surprised you're as down on the Zverev Tien match as you are, because for me that was the best match of men's. That one could have gone
Yeah.
far. That one did feel like it might be about to go five. Tien had set points to take the fourth, and it was really only one dud set that they had between the two of them.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Tien was really up with Zverev.
Yeah. I'm not down on it. It wasn't kind of basically everyone who was supposed to win won in the quarterfinal round. And I am someone who I love an upset. I love an upset. I love a bit of drama. I love things to go like right down to the edge. And in the case of the Zverev Tien match, you kind of saw what could happen if Zverev decided to like serve very well for a match and also take sort of like firm decisions and be aggressive because you're sort of like, well, there's where do you go? For me, of all of the quarterfinal matches, that one between Zverev and Tien was my favorite only because, and if you're following us on Instagram or TikTok, you've seen our sort of like short recap videos. And I mentioned specifically about that match that even though Tien lost, it's like the potential, you can totally see the potential. And that's what I love. Like, he was making so many smart decisions. He has such a great game. And I'm really happy that a lot of people have kind of gotten on board the Learner Tien train during this tournament, because I think he was missing a lot of the hype that other young players of his generation have been getting. And it's time to sort of like appreciate what he does well on court. It's not just about the big forehands and the big serves and stuff. He might not have those things, but he has a lot more to his game that helps him get to these levels of tournaments.
Yeah, I think also he does have weapons. They're just underrated. They're not these monster shots that you could associate. I really enjoyed listening to your conversation you had with Lucy about this in the last episode. Ian has a lot of really strong, great strength, and actually off the next gen on the ATP side, and we're talking a lot this tournament about the WTA next gen. He's the one who's the most consistent, really. Like Fonseca and Menchik have had these insane peaks, but Tien is consistently in the mix, and I think that's going to be the same throughout his career. And I think he'll beat Zverev one day. I think he's got the game to do it. If he can take down Medvedev, he can take down Zverev. And then it's a case of, well, what does his game look like when paired with Sinner and Alcaraz? So
Right.
I'm all aboard the Learner Tien train as well.
Yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to see actually in this semifinal round. Is I really kind of wanted to see a Tien Alcaraz match just to see where their games kind of match up. Um, that kind of takes me to a bit of the bigger topic, I think, on the men's side right now. And I think we have these two stars in Yannick Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz. And, the question is always like, well, who's going to challenge them? And at this tournament, I think it was actually very clearly shown at this specific tournament, the difference between them and the rest of the field, because coming into their matches, Alex de Minaur was crushing. Every other opponent he played before Carlos, he looked unstoppable. He looked like, quote unquote, the best player in the world. Same thing with Learner Tien. Learner Tien dismissed Daniil Medvedev. It was like just so easy. Or, when you look at Sinner, for example, because he played Ben Shelton today and again won in straight sets. And up until this point, Ben Shelton had looked unstoppable. People were saying, like, is this finally the time? And it's sort of like they all look so good until they play Alcaraz and Sinner. And then you're like, oh, okay, so we're still here. We're still at this level. They haven't quite made that jump yet. And I don't know. I don't know what the rest of the tour feels when they sort of like see this sort of results, basically. Um, I'm going to leave a clip of Carlos Alcaraz's press conference after he played Alex de Minaur, because I know he didn't mean it in a bad way at all. Like, it's almost like he was just stating facts and facts that people know. But he was talking, I think he was asked the question of like, what does he think, de Minaur's issue is with playing the top guys? And he basically said, he's trying to play like us and he can't. And I was like, ooh. That's rough. That is really rough if you're Alex de Minaur and you hear that, because Carlos isn't wrong. Like, that's what de Minaur was trying to do. He was trying to sort of maximize his game, and he could only do it for a set, and he lost the set. That's rough. That's really rough.
Yeah, and we've seen that before with de Minaur against Djokovic as well in some of their matches. Like, he could do it for a set, maybe two, against Djokovic, not Djokovic now, but Djokovic even a couple of years ago. And so again, like Shelton, like, I had that match on. I wasn't watching every point. The commentators seemed to be enjoying it. The commentators were like, oh, look at that ball striking, which was interesting. And I think Ben played well, but as in every tennis match, you have the odd, off game. And he had 3 off games in a match, 1 per set, got his serve broken in all of them. And Yannick Sinner didn't. Yannick Sinner didn't.
Yeah.
And again, this is the difference. Like, Sinner was waiting for it and he took full advantage. He didn't waste his opportunities and he didn't really give Ben many. Like, Ben had a couple of looks at Sinner's serve and didn't take his opportunities. Sinner did. And I think that's kind of the difference, is that there are guys out there who can compete, who can do it for however long, a whole match or a set or however, but they've got to keep going and they've got to take their opportunities. And at the moment, they're not doing that. It's always about Sinner and Alcaraz and what they do. I think the tour mentality will change when one of these guys loses to anyone playing well. And I know you could say, well, Cam Norrie beat Alcaraz in Paris. I don't think anyone was going to claim that it was Alcaraz's favourite environment or he was in the best shape. But mano a mano, someone beats one of them, guaranteed the tour's going to be on it. They're going to be like, we can beat these guys. Let's keep trying. We just got to find out who it is and when it is. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. This will end at some point. We just don't know when.
Or they'll just keep getting better.
Or
they'll just keep getting better.
They could do.
Because that's what they've been doing. But I think someone who might have been that person who could sort of make that breakthrough at this tournament was Lorenzo Musetti, who had been looking so good throughout the whole tournament again, and was playing Novak Djokovic in the quarterfinals. And for 2 sets, looked like it was all about to happen. Like Lorenzo Musetti had arrived and he was 2 sets to love up on Novak Djokovic. And then he got injured. And that was that. And he was out of the tournament, and Novak Djokovic is into the semifinals. And I think this tournament has kind of also been underlined by the concept of luck in sport, because there've just been so many, quote, lucky moments. We saw with the, perfectly timed roof closing with Jannik Sinner. And here's a fun stat for you. Novak Djokovic hasn't won a set since the 3rd round, and he's into the quarterfinals. I don't know. I've never seen it ever in my time of watching tennis. If it's happened before and I've missed it, please leave us in the comments and let us know the last time this happened. But Novak Djokovic has not won a set of tennis since the 3rd round. He got a walkover in the 4th. He was losing the quarterfinal, and his opponent got injured. And, he said it himself in the on-court interview. He was like, I was going home, and here I am still. And it's a very interesting situation that he's in right now, because I think I've been listening to a lot of other podcasts and just commentary, and everyone has been kind of saying, like, this is what Novak has needed against Jannik Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz, that the draw fall in his favor, but also he doesn't get too much tennis in his body because his body just can't take that sort of 7-match run in order to win a title anymore. But at the same time, I'm looking at it in a different way. Novak Djokovic hasn't played tennis. He just hasn't. He played, his first 3 rounds, I feel, were pretty comfortable. He won them all in straight sets. And then he hasn't played tennis. He was losing this match against Lorenzo Musetti. And then you think, okay, his next opponent is going to be Jannik Sinner. I feel like you need to have some tennis under your legs in order to take on Jannik Sinner, and then possibly either Zverev or Carlos Alcaraz.
100%. It's better to have 5 easy matches than 3 and a bit. When you look kind of through history at this kind of thing, and when you see withdrawals, by the way, to your question, I think I've looked through Grand Slam draws many, many times. This has never happened in a Grand Slam. I've seen it at remember there was a WTA tournament a few years ago where people were just withdrawing and someone ended up just getting to the final based on withdrawals. I think happened to Felix Auger-Aliassime.
It happened to Felix. Yes. Yeah.
But it's not in a Grand Slam. But typically, players coming in cold tend to lose. You need tennis in your legs to win more often than not. I've seen this many times, even with the greats like Federer and Nadal and Djokovic. More Federer. If Federer had a walkover late in the tournament, I'd be worried about him in the next match, because that happened to him a couple of times in his career. Even the greats need a warm-up. They need to have the reps. We were talking about reps a few weeks ago after the United Cup, and did Naomi Osaka have them? So I don't think Djokovic has the reps. I completely agree with you. I think he doesn't have enough, and he doesn't have the right kind, because he's now coming off a very weird result where he should have lost and he's won. And he's played against a younger guy who was outplaying him, and arguably the same thing's about to happen.
Yeah, yeah. It's very interesting. Huh?
Quick thing, I did have this match circled because the winner of this match was going to be world number 3.
Mm,
Like, it was literally on the line. Lorenzo Musetti was a set and a healthy body away from claiming world number 3, unless Zverev beat Alcaraz. Like, that was the only caveat.
yeah,
Which still could. Djokovic is now number 3. If Zverev beats Alcaraz, then it's off the table pretty much. But
yeah.
that seems to put him back in place. But I did have this circled as a let's see how much these guys want it kind of match.
Yeah, yeah. It's a bummer for Lorenzo Musetti. I feel like this happens to him all the time. He's close and then he gets injured, or he has a very tight match and he loses it. Almost kind of like Alex de Minaur, you hope for them that they eventually at some point get over the line. Now, let's jump into the women. The women, it's been kind of similar in terms of just straight set matches, but I've actually been more excited by the women's matches so far this tournament. It hasn't felt so, processional like heading to the finals. There's actually been some conflict and just sort of like really good matches. The first one that I thought was really great was Sabalenka Jovic, and you see the score line and it's 6-3, 6-love, and you think, oh, Sabalenka blew her out of the water. But that wasn't the case. I don't know if you saw this match, but it was a very good match because it started off looking like it was going to be sort of a double bagel set. I think Sabalenka was like 3-love up or something like that to start, and it just was running away from Jovic. But then she started like communicating with her coaching box, switching things around. And it was one of those processes of watching an athlete have a problem and then solve it in the match. Like, it was actually kind of that first set of Jovic Sabalenka. I encourage everyone to just go back and watch that first set, because starting off the set, you were like, this is two different players in two different classes, and Sabalenka is about to like hit her off the court. And then Eva Jovic just turns things around. And I thought that was so, so impressive because she literally was just learning on the go. She's never played Sabalenka before. This is the first time she's sort of like, I don't even know if they'd practiced before. So it's like the first time she's getting her ball. And I was just super impressed with Eva Jovic in this tournament.
So was I. I thought similar to you. I thought she held up pretty well for the most part. Like, ignore the scoreline. That 6-love set was not a total beatdown. It was one of those weird things, similar to the Sinner Shelton match, just more extreme, of a slight difference kind of inflated by the scoring system. Jovic was going for it. Jovic was she was not scared by Sabalenka. She was going to try and make it a fight. And she kept making it a fight even through that second set. And that first set was really impressive from her. You're right. She almost figured out Sabalenka. The problem she's got is that Sabalenka's at the top of her game and has far more experience and has, eaten so many players like her for breakfast. So it was just unfortunate with the opponent that she got, but it's going to be a massive learning experience. I think she knows that she can fight with Sabalenka. She needs to come up with a game plan for next time, and she's got the data to do that. I loved the hitting in this match. I loved the contest of the rallies. For the most part, Sabalenka, well deserved to be through. Really tough to beat in Australia. But I don't think she can be too comfortable with this matchup with Jovic for very long. And I think everyone's going to be looking over their shoulders at Jovic because, again, rankings update, regardless of what happens now, Eva Jovic is in the top 20. Yeah. She's here, guys, and she's learning.
Yeah, it's so crazy to think that you were in Ilkley, watching her, and we were just thinking, oh, she's coming. She's going to be coming soon. And nope, she's here. She has arrived. She's here. Next up, the next two matches, there was Gauff against Svitolina and then Swiatek against Rybakina. And coming into this, Rybakina has been one of the favorites for people to win it. And Svitolina had just been like crushing all her opponents. But I thought, for sure. These are the matches that we're going to sort of like fireworks. You know what I mean? The one between Svitolina and Gauff, and then Rybakina and Swiatek. I was like, okay, these are our three, these are our three set battles that we're going to have in the quarterfinals. And boy, was I wrong. I was very wrong, because the Gauff match ended in under an hour. And, Swiatek, I was watching that match while I was doing some editing work, and I literally was like, where is she? Like, where is Swiatek? Where did she go? Are we here? It was those two matches. I don't know about you, but I just was like, what's happening?
A little bit, yeah. I thought Svitolina and Gauff would be far more of a fight, and Gauff didn't look comfortable out there. I don't think we know why.
Yeah.
It's just an off day. Svitolina was there to take full advantage. She's good enough to do that. She was there. She was more comfortable using her weaponry. She looked much more settled out there and looked like the top player. So Coco Gauff, huge result for her. She's now back in the top 10. She will be a top 10 player again on Monday, for the first time since having a baby, coming back 3 years ago now.
Yeah.
That's a really, really big result for her. I was really happy to see her succeed, not in that way. Gauff, we'll probably come back to Gauff. Iga and Elena, I saw that match a little bit differently to you in the first set. The second set, Iga was completely off. But the first set was a really tight contest. And I'm going to say, I think that was the best set of all of the quarterfinals. Like, if of the 8 sets, that first set was the best, because it was pretty competitive. You had some great rallies between the two. They were really using their weapons. They were really challenging each other. Iga had a chance to get ahead in the match. She broke in the first game. She had a chance to hold, and then Elena broke back. It was a tough game in the next one. And then she had love 40 to go up a break again. And they just never quite got hold of the match, kept hold of the match, but she was kind of staying with Elena. And Elena just got better. Like, as the set progressed, I just kept on going, wow, Elena Rybakina. Like, what was that shot? What was that moment? Like, she was the one coming up with the magical tennis, to the point where eventually she very much deservedly won that set. She broke through. She got the opportunities. She took them. And literally only came down to a couple of mistakes from Iga Swiatek that lost that first set. And that was so good. And then it all unravels for Iga Swiatek in the second set. And Elena was just stayed so good throughout it, and took full advantage and kind of raced away with it. But yeah, I'm not massively surprised as how the match played out. Iga Swiatek's still figuring some things out. Elena Rybakina's got her mojo back, and I'm very interested to see now what, Rybakina with her mojo back does in the semifinals.
Yeah, she gets Jessica Pegula next, who is, I don't know, she's like serve-bot Jessica Pegula. She looks so unstoppable right now. If you've watched any of Jessica Pegula's matches, it's like, who is this person? Where did she come from? And the thing too with Jessica Pegula is she's so cool, calm, and collected. You barely see any emotion on her face. She just sort of like gets it done, goes back to the locker room. She's just like, I'm here to win it, and then go back to the locker room. Like, no fuss, no muss. And it was so stark, the contrast in her match against Amanda Anisimova, who was just crashing out. Like, there's no other way to say it. The girl crashed out on court, and it was such a bummer to see, because again, this was another match that I thought, ooh, Jessica Pegula, Amanda Anisimova, backhand versus sort of like calm clarity. I was like, but Jessica dismantled her game and just played so well. And even Amanda, I don't know if she said it in press or she just posted it to Instagram, but she kind of was like, she was disappointed with the way she sort of like crashed out on court, basically. And she knows that it's something she can't do in order to stay focused, because I think that's what really happened. It's like the moment she just started to lose it emotionally, she also just lost the match because she wasn't focusing on what she had to do. So that was a very interesting, and I love when athletes can kind of like call themselves out a little bit and take responsibility for their performances. So I kind of love that a lot. And again, it's going to be cool, calm, and collected Jess versus Ice Princess Elena Rybakina, and it's just going to be the coldest match in Australia. It's like a heat wave, and it's going to be like ice on court, and I'm ready for it. I'm kind of excited to see how that match pans out.
Rematch of their WTA finals semi-final, which they had, which went 3, and that was quite entertaining. Yeah, completely agree with everything you said about Amanda Anisimova. She is such an up and down player, and she was very up and down in that match. And it's all about her emotions. So she's always had to manage her emotions in her career. But when she has them under control, she is so, so good. And we saw that even in the US Open fight against Sabalenka, she was quite up and down. Figures that out, gets on an even keel for long enough, she'll win big, no problems. But yeah, can I just say that everyone's been sleeping on Jessica Pegula, like coming into this tournament, because she got to the Brisbane semi-finals and she lost to Marta Kostyuk, who was on fire. And I was like, top 10 player who makes the Brisbane semi-finals generally does really, really well in Australia. And to the point where I was like, I think she may well beat Maddie Keys, and I think she may well beat Amanda Anisimova in that draw. Like, that was very much a possibility in my mind. And she's kind of shown that, like, yeah, she's feeling good right now. This is not the start of last year for her at all. She's much more back to how we expect her to be, if not better, because that serve is so good now. And she's so confident in redirecting. And she frustrated Amanda Anisimova by getting everything back and keeping herself in it and then redirecting like she does really, really well. I'm very interested to see what she does against Rybakina in that semi-final. That one's going to be the closest battle of it. And again, rankings update, because this is like my obsession right now. The winner of that match will overtake Coco Gauff. Coco Gauff is going to drop out the top 4, and either one of Rybakina or Pegula will get in. I think one of them could even jump above Anisimova. I think it's Rybakina.
Yeah, because Anisimova is now top 3. She's a third currently.
Currently, like looking set for it. But again, depending on results and things, like that's under threat from the winner of this match. So big kind of, momentum for whoever wins this, like real confidence boost at the start of the year to set himself up well for the rest of the season. I don't know which way it's going to go. I think Jess could easily frustrate Rybakina with being more consistent and being able to deal with her pace. Rybakina could just ace Jess off the court. We'll see what happens. But I'm down for it.
Yep, we will see what happens. Hoping, crossing our fingers and our toes for exciting semifinal matches. Next up, let's touch on the doubles a little bit, because while the singles has been sort of like all the seeds have held, no crazy massive upsets. We did have, the 1 or 2 upsets in the first round, FAA going out early, Marta Kostyuk going out early. There hasn't sort of been like seismic, changes. On the doubles, it's been the opposite. The number 1 seeds, I think, were out in the first or second rounds. The defending champions are now all out. So it is definitely a mix of things in the doubles. Right now, I fear I might have jinxed the women's semifinals, because yesterday I made our short recap video and I was like, oh my goodness, I'm so excited for the possible meeting of Siniakova Townsend and then Yelena Ostapenko Hei Wei. Like, that should be such a fun, exciting doubles match. And they both lost yesterday in the quarterfinals. So yay me. But yeah, there's still some, great names in the doubles left. Gabby Dabrowski is back in the semifinals of a Grand Slam with a new partner. This is something she's doing. She's just making it to semifinals of Grand Slams with different partners, which goes to show she might be the next sort of doubles, icon that is sort of, in high demand in terms of people wanting to partner with her.
Yeah. I think, rightly so. She's always been a great doubles player. She's got some great results under her belt. Yeah, I'm just looking at this lineup and like it's insane. I think it's so weird not seeing some of these bigger names or seeing some of this reshuffle happening. And I'm looking forward to it. I've been trying to work out when the women's semi-finals are, and they're like, oh, they're tomorrow. All the semi-finals are tomorrow. Or today. I don't know what day it is for us anymore. It's tomorrow for me. It's today for Anastasia.
It's tomorrow for me too. It's actually something to mention. The singles semifinals for the women is at 3:30 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. I will not be watching them live, guys. I will be watching them on replay.
Yeah. Fair. Yeah, but like really good. And I think there's some really cool stories in there as well, particularly the men's doubles. Like,
Mm-hmm.
So I think we'll probably review all of them as and when they happen. But
Yeah.
worth keeping an eye on.
Yeah, definitely. The men's doubles has the wild cards, hometown heroes of Kubler and Pullman, I think is its partner. And then, of course, my new favorite doubles team, Neil Skupski and Harrison and Chris Harrison, are also in the semifinals of the men's doubles. So that is a good sort of, match. It could be exciting there in the end. It's just been so weird watching the doubles. Oh, and also a new pairing. I believe Luke Johnson and Jan Zielinski, the Polish player, they're also in the semifinals. So it's a very interesting mix of new names in the quarterfinals of the Australian Open on the double side. Okay, we've kind of talked about this a bit through our discussions, but the semifinals have been set, so it's going to be Alcaraz versus Zverev. It's going to be Djokovic versus Sinner. On the women's, it's going to be Sabalenka versus Svitolina and Pegula versus Rybakina. Should be exciting, hopefully. It's now coming down to the wire. It's kind of crazy, Nick, where I was thinking a few weeks ago, I was like, wow, so long, 3 weeks of a Grand Slam. And now I'm like, it's going to be over in a few days.
Yeah, I guess I'm going to get my sleep schedule back. I've got to find a new reason
Yes.
to get up early. I mean, like, it's been great because I'm actually being proactive with my day by waking up, but probably not. Let's see how long that lasts.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Like, I think we've still got some good fun to come out of this Australian Open. I think it's building to a big crescendo, and yeah, semi-finals time.
It is. It is that time. So, a look ahead. There are some other tournaments still happening right now other than the Australian Open. So we're getting to that point where it's going to be the Australian Open is in our tail view, a rear view mirror, and then we're looking ahead to other tournaments. The Philippines Open is happening. I have so enjoyed just seeing the video of fans from the Philippines Open. It's their first tournament in the Philippines, the WTA 125, and you can just feel the excitement of people having this event there. The players have been so positive about it. Like they're all saying like the quality level of the facility and the tournament is higher than some 250s that they have attended. So that is so, so nice to see. Of course, we're following Alex Ayala, but even more so, she's into the quarterfinals of the Philippines Open, and she's going to be playing against off-season player Camila Osorio. So I will definitely be checking out that match. I don't know what time it is yet, but I'm going to check on WT Unlocked,
Oh,
who are airing it for free to see.
I think I have it because I've marked that as a match I want to get updates for. So it's actually gonna start. It's due to start at according to TNNS, 11 a.m. UK time, which is going to be 6 a.m. Eastern time.
Not bad. Not bad at all. I could totally catch that immediately when I wake up. So hopefully I will be able to watch that tomorrow. Also, the San Diego Challenger is going on right now as well. And Colton Smith is in it. He's in the round of 16 and of course, off-season player, so we follow what he is doing. But the field in San Diego is pretty stacked. Sebi Korda is playing the round of 32 today. So check that out if you want to watch it. Again, you can watch Challenger TV for free on the ATP website. And you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, I believe there's also a women's 125 in San Diego as well. Or maybe it's a lower level
Yeah, I think
than a
women are the only one two
125.
five.
And I only bring it up because Jen Brady is back playing tennis and she's in it. Let me just pull that up really quick.
Yeah, I've got it. Yeah, no, it's not a 125. I know that. San Diego, right? An ITF W100, which is the highest level of WTF, ITF, and Jen Brady actually has won a match today. She's beaten Katarina Djokic in 3 sets.
Yeah, so that is awesome. It's nice to see Jen Brady, who's also a podcaster now, back on court. She's been gone for over 2 years, I want to say, from play.
Wow.
She was in the qualifying draw for the Australian Open, but she pulled out. So she is on the ITF tour now, coming back slowly. Someone also on the ITF tour coming back slowly is Bianca Andreescu. I believe she's already won a tournament on the ITF level. So many acronyms that we have to learn. Couple of things to finish off. If you missed our fashion episode, it is live on our YouTube channel and also on our podcast feed. It is a long one. It's an hour and a half long. So it's definitely one of those that you grab a cup of coffee, maybe on a weekend, and you just watch it. I do suggest watching it because I have made slides and there are images of all the outfits. So you can watch it on Spotify or on YouTube. Someone messaged me the other day and they're like, I'm halfway through the episode, but it's so good. So don't feel like you need to ingest it all at once. You have time. You can watch it back whenever you like. And then also the new episode of Off Season, episode 2, is out this Sunday, again at 4 p.m. Eastern. I will again do a live stream if you want to join me for the live stream and join me in the chat. So 4 p.m. Eastern on Sunday, you're going to get a new episode of the Off Season. If you haven't watched the first episode yet, the link is in the description of this podcast. The response has been so great. So thank you all. We got a shout out on Served, the Served podcast. So that was really nice. Producer Mike watched it and he liked it. So we are very grateful for that. And the response has been really great. What I also have done actually is Off Season now has a separate YouTube channel. So you will still get all of Off Season on this YouTube channel if you're watching this on YouTube on Ground Pass. But there will be more content and more just clips and videos and things like that you can find on the off-season only YouTube channel. Last thing, I know we have a lot of admin, but that's what we do now. We obviously have a YouTube membership program and also a Patreon. You don't need to do both. It's either or, because it'll be the same content, including our Substack as well. It will be the same content, but we are going to start putting out behind the scenes previews or extra footage of the off-season production, and also sort of you'll get early clips of the new episodes. That is all coming to our YouTube membership, Patreon, and Substack. And thank you to all the people who have already joined our YouTube membership program and Patreon. I was shocked to see you all there, but thank you so much. That really does help us out in producing more of these fun episodes for you and just keeping Ground Pass going. So really do appreciate all of that.
Can I tack on an AOB?
What's an AOB?
Oh gosh, is this a British thing?
Probably.
AOB means any other business.
I've never heard it said that way, but yes.
This is something I've heard of in like meetings I've been in, so we've used it. It might be a corporate thing, maybe it's a British thing. Any other business. This doesn't need to be a full conversation for this episode. We might have to park it and come back. Cameras off court. So it's been pretty well publicised that after Coco Gauff lost to Irina Svitolina in the quarterfinals, she walked into what she thought was a private area and smashed a racket as a way of venting her frustration at how she performed and how the match went. It was caught on camera and broadcast on pretty much every broadcaster, TNT in the UK, Channel 9 Australia, ESPN in the US. And Gauff immediately went out and said, I'm not happy about that. I want to have a private moment for me to deal with it because I didn't want to do that in front of a camera and I didn't want to take my frustration out on my team. How do I process this emotion? Like, there's cameras everywhere. It's too much. Jessica Pegula and Iga Swiatek have also jumped on and said some things. I think Carlos Alcaraz has said something similar as well, of there's just too many behind the scenes cameras. The players don't feel like they have any real privacy to try and express things and sort things out. It seems like the only privacy they get is when it has to be for dignity's sake. So what I want to put out there is, before we dive into a conversation, us two, about what we think about behind the scenes cameras, I want to know, is this something that fans actually want? So Ground Pass listeners, so follow us on social media, like, do you like the behind the scenes cameras? Why do you like them? Or do you not feel they serve really any extra benefit? Because the reason they're there is to drive fan engagement, because the tournaments want this. The Australian Open and the US Open specifically have a lot. The United Cup had a bit as well, but those two tournaments are well known for that. We know Arina Sabalenka famously smashed the racket behind the scenes after losing the US Open finals to Coco Gauff. It feels like a much bigger conversation now since then, because it's not about Sabalenka anymore. It's about all the players. So I want to know what you guys think. It'll probably, because I think it'll inform my perspective on what I think about cameras, because I know what my gut reaction is. And my gut reaction is I don't like them and I don't see the point.
Yeah. I would say, it has been a very interesting conversation point. I posted about this on my personal threads and Blue Sky account, but I remember in 2023, and at the time I didn't have a podcast to talk about it, but the whole sort of discourse around Sabalenka smashing her racket and how it was shown from the behind the scenes cameras. It was like, sort of like, first of all, this was a private moment she was having. Second, what's wrong with smashing a racket in frustration? It shows that you care. It shows that you care that you lost the match. And I just thought, it's so fascinating to see the difference in the discourse right now. Definitely, obviously, more players are coming out against these cameras and stuff. So that's definitely one thing. Looking at it from the tournament perspective, yes, I do want to totally hear what people who listen to our podcast think about it. Please leave your thoughts in the comments. But people do like it. If you go to, so basically what these, the cameras that just go, they run constantly. Yes, they do clip them up and you can see them on ESPN or whatever. But if you go to their website, not website, but their YouTube channels of the Australian Open and the US Open, they run live. They run live for the duration of the day. And if you go to those live streams, there are thousands of people watching it. Thousands, not like 2, 3, 4, thousands of people just, and I've never understood that. I'm like, what are you you're watching people go in and out of a door. You're watching, like, I was like, what are you? Yes, you do get these fun clippable moments, and I've seen different sort of social media accounts like put music behind it. Like, a funny one that I saw was Amanda Anisimova was waiting for her team, and it was just like one of those sort of countdown kind of music things where she's just sitting there and it's like a time lapse and she's waiting for her team. It's kind of hilarious. So yes, you'll see clips like that or whatever, but for the most part it's literally just watching people walk down a hallway, and I've never understood it, but because it's not something I would consume like for hours and hours at a time, but there are people that do. And I just think there's a happy medium, because behind the scenes content is something that people always want. It goes all the way back to movies. People love the BTS of movies and seeing how it was made and things like that. So people love that, but there definitely is a middle ground. The fact that there is nowhere else that a player can go other than their locker room that doesn't have a camera, that is a bit much. That is a bit much. You don't need to, I think, film every single moment of these players' lives. The one that I actually dislike the most is the one in the gym where they're warming up. Like, some of those, I'm just like, leave them alone. Like, they're trying to warm up for their matches and stretch and do all this stuff, and now there's just a camera. And that's the one that I actually has bothered me for a while, is the cameras that are in the warm-up area of the gym before the players go on court, or even after sometimes. So yeah, it's a very interesting topic. Let us know what you think. I'm sure there are people who are going to be like, more cameras, and
yeah,
that will be for them.
and that's helpful. So, like, yeah, tell us what the appeal is, because we don't get it. Like, if I am all for behind the scenes content, I love behind the scenes of movies, like you saying. Like, I'm the guy, if you watch Lord of the Rings with, I will tell you all the behind the scenes stories from that. Did you know that Viggo Mortensen broke his toe while kicking that helmet in that scene?
No.
So, but going back to this, I think, yeah, it's too much. Like, there's no privacy. And I don't think it actually gives the behind the scenes that people are looking for. It just gives you a live update of where the players who are waiting are or whatever. And yeah, I think the people who are watching the live stream constantly on YouTube are the people who just want to see a glimpse of that they absolutely love and like, oh, that just makes them happy for the rest of the day. Level of parasocial relationship that makes me uncomfortable. I would say that, like, if I think about, the camera in the gym, what does that tell me? It might tell me a little bit about a warm-up routine in tennis. It doesn't tell me about the person. Coco Gauff smashed a racket. Tells me she was frustrated. As you say, Anastasia, she should be. How else is she supposed to vent the frustration? How else was Aria Sabalenka supposed to vent the frustration without, being nasty to their teams? What do we learn? Like, the behind-the-scenes content we want is vlogs. It's player controlled. It's when the players let you in. Even when tournaments do filming of these kind of things, it always feels so staged.
Yeah.
And that's what we want. We want content that genuinely lets us to get to know the players and learn a bit about the sport, not give us a glimpse of any possible moment that we can get of the players. I don't think it's constructive.
Yeah. So anyway, watch off season for the great behind the scenes content that was given.
Perfect.
I mean, hey,
yes,
you guys want it? We got it. And it's all player controlled, and they let us in and show us what their life is like in the off season. Guys, we will be back for a semifinal review, finals preview, which will probably be on Friday. We'll be back to you on Friday, and then finally on Sunday for the whole review of the tournament. Thank you so much again for listening. Again, you know what to do. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you want more content like this, and also to just know when our episodes drop. Also, if you're listening to this on a podcast player of your choice, please give us a 5-star rating and leave us a review. Always love to read those that are on the podcast players. I see them. I see all your reviews that you leave there for us. So thank you. Thank you very much. And Nick, I'm excited for the semifinals. I hope they're good. Yeah?
Yeah.
Awesome. So thank you guys, and we will see you on the next one. Bye.